So the entrepreneur journey is way more predictable than you might expect. We crunched the numbers and analysing business performance data from over 35,000 business owners globally, an interesting pattern emerged. Put simply, there are a series of well-defined stages in the entrepreneur journey, and the data shows that businesses at similar stages of growth struggle with similar problems. Because the problems are predictable, the solutions to those problems become predictable as well. By better understanding the stages in the entrepreneur journey, you can avoid the need for growth by trial and error and rapidly accelerate your own journey. And so there are 8 stages. The first is startup, characterized by optimism and enthusiasm and working with little more than their skills, experiences, and an idea. Startups are pre-revenue and don't have a track record of results. The second step is wilderness, between 1 and 2 founders, and the data shows that across the UK, Australia, the USA and Singapore, 80% of all businesses are here. The majority have been built around the skill set of the business owner, and because there's rarely enough surplus to pay a team, the owner is also the marketer, the salesperson, the networker, the admin helper, the customer support person, and to top it all off, if they stop, the money stops. While they might not admit it, the majority of small business owners are struggling in the wilderness and only just getting by. They take on more risk, yet take home less than they would from a job. And the common emotions here are feelings of stress, isolation, and burnout. Statistically, this group are the least likely to engage the advice of advisors beyond their Uber driver, and they spend the least amount of time working on their business. They tend to rely on their own trial and error, so few progress to the next stage of the journey. The fact is, as technology unemployment and the automation of white-collar work accelerates, the plight of these micro businesses is only going to get worse. The third stage is the struggling boutique. They employ between 3 and 12 people, but have a low ratio of revenue per employee, signaling that the inefficiency of the previous stage in the journey has only expanded. So freeze frame, quick tangent. Revenue per person is a great back of the napkin way of determining how well a business is performing. A low revenue per person means the business is defaulting to throwing people at the problems, which is expensive, inefficient, and counterproductive. A high revenue per person means the business is leveraging thought leadership, technology, and digital assets in such a way that even a small team can have a big impact. As your business grows and you have better data to work with, profit per full-time employee or even profit per full-time employee hour becomes a more refined metric that you can use. So in a struggling boutique, a small team forms, the roles become more focused, but it still feels like hard work and struggle. These businesses tend to only operate in a geographically localized area, and despite boasting high 6, early 7-figure revenues, still tend to lack financial stability. The owner tends to be the bottleneck, and they struggle to be better off financially than the rest of their team in most cases. Stage 4, a lifestyle business, is where it gets fun. Employing between 3 and 12 people, these businesses generate a high revenue per person. A small dynamic team with low overheads and high energy culture starts to form, and this type of business tends to be led by what we call key people of influence, meaning they embody the vision, the values, and the value proposition of the business. They've built a respected personal brand in their industry, and energetically, this is the most fun, it's the most personally rewarding place to be. Their value proposition and their pitch is highly differentiated. They've got strong cut through to their ideal customers. They attract opportunities. They're highly profitable. The key person is often a speaker, author, or a media commentator, and they tend to have developed products and services that can be delivered by other people or technology, so they can live and work from almost anywhere. Most importantly, this is the first stage of business where the owner has an abundance of both time and money, with a dramatic reduction in the levels of stress and anxiety and the feeling that it's all about to fall apart. For most people we speak to, a lifestyle business is the goal, and I strongly recommend against the idea of growing beyond a team of 12 with a maximum of about 3 million revenue, because somewhere between 13 and 49 people with between 3 and 15 million revenue, everything, and I do mean everything, turns to custard. So stage 5 is crossing or dying in the desert. In the desert, you're too big to be a small business and you're too small to be a big business. Overheads go through the roof. You're overcapitalized but underfunded, and the founder is sucked from enjoying their life back into the operations and management. It's up to them to solve the mission critical problems that aren't in line with their strengths. HR, governance, structure, systems, legal, finance, general management. This on top of having to drive enough business to double and then double again. If you're committed to crossing the desert, my advice is don't. If you're still committed to doing it, prepare well and get it over with as fast as possible. You'll need to be well connected in your industry, you'll need to be able to access cash, and you'll definitely need the advice of people who have done it before. On the other side of the desert is what we call a performance business. So a performance business has between 50 and 150 people, and this is where business gets fun, and at this level, you're playing a much bigger game. A performance business is a dynamic team of highly paid professionals working in a well-respected brand. The business itself is almost unrecognizable from the lifestyle boutique it once was. The culture, brand, systems, product, and governance have all shifted up 2 or 3 years, and the business now offers multiple products and services across a range of markets and territories. There's plenty of cash, and the founder can either hold on and build their wealth over time or exit for a life-changing amount of money. The next 2 stages are fairly self-explanatory. The unicorns, like the Ubers and the Teslas of the world, that require a perfect storm of luck, timing, a gifted founder, a co-founder, and often a lot more luck. And then there's the corporations like the IBMs or the KPMGs that are frankly now struggling to remain competitive against the groundswell of smaller, more dynamic businesses that are keeping them on their toes. So at Dent, we've personally worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and leaders around the world at all stages of the journey, and I consistently see them making poor decisions that are incongruent with the type of businesses they're in or want to build. For example, businesses in the wilderness say they want to build a lifestyle, but they refuse to hire anyone or develop themselves as an industry influencer. Instead, they juggle emails, paperwork, logistics, and delivering technical expertise. That's not a business, that's a job. And I see lifestyle entrepreneurs with a great business that they've got counterproductive goals of reaching, say, 5 million in revenue with a team of 20, which puts them bang in the middle of the desert. That is why we produce the Key Person of Influence scorecard. Regardless of whether you're in startup, small business, or fast growth, because almost all of the bottlenecks, frustrations, and challenges you and your team are experiencing day to day in your business are predictable, having a clear roadmap that the scorecard offers takes the trial and error out of accelerating your own entrepreneur journey. It's free and it only takes 10 minutes to complete, but the subsequent clarity and focus and opportunities it offers have already helped tens of thousands of business owners around the world. So that's why we produce the Key Person of Influence scorecard and this mini-series. Regardless of whether you're in startup, small business, or fast growth, because of all of your bottlenecks and frustration, or your team's bottlenecks or frustrations are predictable, having a clear roadmap is going to take the trial and error out of accelerating your entrepreneur journey.